Hello and welcome to the very special edition of the Restricted Area Podcast. We are talking all things trade deadline today, as we have just finished off the trade deadline at 3 p.m. today. We are recording on the exact same day, so some very exciting stuff to cover. As a reminder, you can hear this podcast a day before it can be seen on YouTube by checking out Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts. To get you started, I'm your host, Alex Perez, joined by producer Colton Smith. How we doing?
Definitely very happy with the Pacers trade. I'll go dive into that here in a bit, but it wasn't a bombshell trade deadline, but it was a fun one. It was one of those where my buddy at work would be like, "Oh, did you see the newest trade?" Or I would look at my phone and say the same thing to him. Like, oh, so it was a very active one, which I can appreciate. And there was definitely some head scratching moves as well as some, I think really sneaky, really good moves that were made. So that you don't notice right away, but when we get to the playoffs, we're going to see the benefits of these trades. So, yeah, that's we'll get into that, but it's been a good week so far for me. Still settling into my new job. How about you, Alex?
Pretty much the same way, hooked up to those Shams notifications like it's life support. So, it's trade the deadline week is always one of my favorites of honestly any sports week. So, very excited about that. Looking forward to watching the Super Bowl this weekend, but not much change in my life work wise besides watching some fantastic NKU basketball at the collegiate level. So, that's been fun this week. But enough about other sports. Let's get back to NBA and talk some trade deadline action. What stood out to you? Maybe pick something you really liked and something you didn't really like so much.
Yeah, I'll start with the bad news, as they say. I'll start with the what I didn't like. Now, that's because it's a really good trade, but Jared McCain to the Thunder for what, like a pick or two, and the
Yeah,
Thunder in the end, I think they got a pick, right? Or was that might have
yeah,
like they're just like, oh yeah, we'll throw in a pick just for fun, because why not? Um, No, I didn't say it on here yet, but maybe it's just not updated. Anyways, getting Jared McCain, a player who I think is really, really good. Like, I thought he maybe had an all-star outlook at his peak if he stayed healthy. To get him on the Thunder, a team that's already deeper than any team I've probably seen in my lifetime, to make that team even deeper, not have to give up a single player. They didn't end up trading away Osame Dang, which or Usman Dang. I can't. I'm terrible pronouncing names, but it did end up giving up him, which I'm curious to see how he does. I think it's a kind of a sneaky pickup for Charlotte. He just wasn't going to fit in all of this depth that the Thunder have. So also getting Mason Plumlee in return there, a second big. I don't know what Mason Plumlee really is at this point, but I'm sure he'll find a way to be his best self at OKC. So yeah, I'm really salty about the Jared McCain trade because I think there's a lot of NBA teams that would have made that deal for a first round in 3 seconds, and would have gotten a big boost on their team with him. I think OKC obviously still gets a big boost with him on their team, but they didn't need him. Damn it, they're doing just fine as they are, and they had another really talented player in Jared McCain. So, yeah, I'm just salty about that. That's the one I didn't like. But I would also want to, and I don't know if I necessarily dislike what the Bulls did, but I just question what are they building in there? Like, what on earth are they
it's one of the
building in
rosters of all time.
to recap, they got Dario Saric and a second round pick, and two second round picks. Sorry, for they didn't even trade anybody in that trade. They just got him. I don't know. I think down the line maybe they traded somebody to those teams, but
Yeah, it was probably part of an expanded trade or something.
yeah, some expanded trade. But then they also acquired Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley, uh, and traded away. Okay, I don't know why this is so weird, but anyways, to get back on track, they got Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley. They flipped Mike Conley for with Cody White for Colin Sexton and Oons Dang, and uh, then ended up getting Anthony Simons for Nikola Vucevic, and then got Rob Dillingham and Leonard Miller for Ayo DeSumo and Julian Phillips. Lastly, they got Nick Richards and then got Gershon Yabusele, who was rumored to be getting signed in Israel as recently as 2 days ago, I believe. So I guess he's not doing that. But like, what are we building? All these guys are players that I like. I thought Yabusele would be a lot better on the Knicks. He didn't pan out quite. Anthony Simons, I think he kind of just wasn't in the right situation in Boston. Maybe not a winning basketball player. We'll see. Jaden Ivey, you obviously know I love him. I think Colin Sexton is an absolute hooper and want to see him play winning basketball. But that's like 90 guards. Mike Conley, well, they traded Mike Conley, but like that's like 90 guards. How are you? What? Billy Donovan probably has a brain aneurysm from trying to get this like rotation in line. Like I don't understand what they're trying to build. I think they're just like trying to get talented players to see what sticks, and whatever doesn't stick, they'll trade at the next trade deadline. But you need to build a team. You have, I think, pieces that in the East can contribute to a top 6 team. Josh Giddey, Matas Buzelis, you know, the gang. Like I feel like they got a pretty good squad, but they just keep on filling it with players that I don't know necessarily fit the mold of what they're trying to do. And I don't know, but that's just Chicago. They'll do whatever it takes to make the plan, and that's about it. So that is the Chicago Bulls and my just what are they building in there on them. And then the last thing I want to get to is, of course, my Indiana Pacers, who got Nico right before the deadline. I was like, we're not doing anything this deadline, but right before the deadline hit, they got, let me get the correct stuff here. Eva, I never have been able to say it, Zubac.
Final hour of the deadline.
Yeah, final hour. Kobe Brown from the LA Clippers for Benedict Mathurin. I had a feeling it wasn't originally announced that he was being traded, but I had a feeling he would. Then the 2026 first round pick, possibly one of the biggest gambles in a trade I've seen in a while. Protected for the first 4 picks, but if that lands between 5 and 10, then that is the Clippers pick. And then a 2029 first round pick unprotected, a 2028 second round pick, and then Isaiah Jackson. I don't think player wise, I'm not disappointed. I know a lot of people are. Benedict Mathurin is the reason we don't have an NBA Finals trophy in Indiana because he missed those free throws in Game 5. There's other reasons as well, but he is one of the main reasons. A lot of dumb mistakes in one game that gave OKC momentum back and won the game. So sorry about it. And then Isaiah Jackson is a legend. I don't think he was getting too much playing time, so hopefully he's able to go to LA and maybe find himself a little bit more. But he definitely had some really good stretches on the Pacers, so not hoping nothing for the best here. But the big division point, and if you're in our Discord, you know, big division point is that first round pick. I think it's a worthy bet. I think Zubac is what we need. If we get Cameron Boozer or whoever at that pick, he is not going to impact the team as much as Zubac is, because you look at this team, even with Tyrese Halliburton, I don't think this is a finals team. We do not have the inside presence that we had with Miles Turner. I think Zubac brings that and more. Miles Turner was a good defender. Zubac is a great defender. I think maybe not the same switchability as Turner, obviously, but I still think his overall presence in the paint is going to be a problem for teams like the Thunder and other teams that we'll face along the way. So I think, as well as that pick and roll with Tyrese is going to be nasty. I was mind blown when I found out he is only 28 years old. We have him under contract until 2028. As well, when I go back to Miles Turner, he's getting paid $100-some million for the next 3 to 4 years. And then Zubac is only getting paid $18 million a year to come out to $53 million over the next 3 years. So we got what I think is a better player than Miles Turner on a cheaper deal to replace him. And I think that is the big deal. I do think if we lose the pick, there's a lot more pressure on Zubac to be the player that I think he can be. But I think it's a worthy risk. And if we get the pick, I think we're even better off because we got rid of Mathurin, which opens up a spot for a Boozer, for an AJ, and a player like that. So we're bad enough that we should get a top 4 pick, but it's happened a lot of times where teams have gotten screwed over by that. I'm sure the league would want nothing more than to give the Clippers a top 4 pick because they're in a market like LA. So I get it, but I think even if we don't get that pick, this team is okay because Zubac healthy is more impactful than what a rookie would bring to a team that is gearing up for a championship next year. We can pick up a sneaky guy on a minimum contract that could fit the role that a rookie Boozer would, I think, in year one. So there's my soapbox. I did not expect to talk for that long, but Alex, I'll let you talk again.
Funny thing is, I think I have a Lakers gripe for each of those points that you hit on. First off, Zubac, I will never forgive the Lakers for trading him for Mike Muscala. Um, yeah, that's the return we got, and you all and the Clippers got Matherin. A little different there. Great. Anyways, but yeah, I do think Zubac is better in just about every way. Obviously, he's not the deep threat shooting wise that Turner was, but that's about the only leg up that Turner had on him. So it's a great move by Indiana. It sets up their future and it sets up a team possibly to get back to the finals. And if Tyrese is out the rest of the year, give them hope just to kind of build that chemistry and give him some time to kind of be the star and find his role in that offense. And then second point you hit on was OKC. Yeah, the rich get richer. I love that Jared McCain is playing for them. So excited. Um, the Lakers sure could have used him. Bench is terrible, but go to the team that doesn't need you. That's cool. Um, and then what was the other point you hit on? Sorry.
Bulls.
The Bulls, yeah, that's what it was because they were my didn't like storyline for this deadline. Uh, Not only do you have basically a dozen guards under contract and didn't get your big until the last hour of the trade deadline, uh, it's Nick Richards. Um, that is who you're telling me you are going with for the foreseeable future at your center position. When you had Vucevic, obviously not one of the top 5 centers in the league, but a solid center, and I would say more solid than Nick Richards. So I am very very confused on what the Bulls are building. It's not something good, I know that, but I've heard a small ball, but I think this is the smallest ball that we could play. So can't wait to see how bad it gets. I think they were trying to not be a play-in team, and they succeeded, just not in the way that they had hoped. I think.
Yeah, very accurate.
And the good point I wanted to hit on was probably the biggest trade of the deadline: Harden for Garland. I think this is a win-win for both situations. The Clippers finally get their floor general that I feel like they've been looking for years, and the Clippers also get off James Harden when he's not happy. James Harden not happy is not a player that you want on the team. Uh, it certainly helps Cleveland on offense. Don't know how imposing they're going to be defensively. Donovan Mitchell and James Harden don't really scare me really defensively, but they do have Mobley and Allen to back them up if players get by them. So maybe they can patch up some of that liability they are on defense. We will see. Uh, but yeah, I think it's a win-win for both sides, and I'm really excited to see how the Clippers respond. Because are they going? Why would you make this move if you're going in tank mode? And it's like you are if you trade Zubac. So I'm really confused where the Clippers are at right now, but I also am kind of delighted in it. Because they still never had to deal with the aspiration stuff. But anyways, gripe for another day. But yeah, I'm very excited about this trade. I think it's a win-win for both sides and something that needed to be done when once you hear Harden's unhappy.
Yeah, I always want to make the point that you kind of touched on is what are the Clippers really doing after trading Zubac? You still have Kawhi Leonard on contract. I don't know if that's a contract you would be able to move, even though he is playing out of his shoes right now. Um, I do question the fit of James Harden and Donovan Mitchell with there being just one ball.
Fair.
And yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. The Cavs were kind of on an upswing a little bit. I feel like this is a really good way to kind of. I'm not necessarily behind the idea that James Harden is simply a locker room cancer, but I will say that it seems like everywhere he goes, locker room issues follow. So um, I question bringing him into that locker room, a locker room that has built a culture over the past 3 to 4 years now. And certainly James Harden, a veteran who has definitely a style. Him and Kenny Atkinson have already had differences, right, in the past when he was with the Nets. I guess maybe that was more KD than Harden. So maybe that's why Kenny brought him back. Maybe they do have a better relationship that we don't know about. I don't know. So I do really question the Cleveland fit. I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe we just have to wait and see. But I do like Darius Garland going to LA and maybe getting a fresh start. I feel like that's kind of what he's needed, and hopefully it works out for him.
Yeah, that was my other Lakers gripe. A point guard that the Lakers could have had a long time ago. But anyways, we've got a pretty good one now, so I guess I won't gripe too much on that. But we will go ahead and move on to our NBA power rings, where this week we will give our top five winners at the deadline instead of our top five teams. Colton, who you got?
I'm going to start from the top to bottom this time, just switch it up a little bit for this week. And the Pacers are at number one because they're number one in my heart. And I am very happy with this trade. I'm very
Respect that.
positive. I have a positive feeling about this trade. And yeah, I'm excited. At number two, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Timberwolves. I think the Ayo DeSumo trade was an absolute steal because they needed a replacement Mike Conley. I think Ayo can do that. I mean, he's not going to have obviously the veteran presence that Mike Conley brings, but I do think he can be that backup point guard that Rob Dillingham wasn't quite shaping up to be. And I think he can absolutely be one of those trades I was talking about. When we don't necessarily see it yet, but when we get to the playoffs, Ayo is a clutch player that is a winning, I think a winning player really, and I'm excited to see him at a winning organization and what he could potentially do. And then my next winner is going to be where did they go? I kind of have the Hornets. I don't know if they're winners. I think it's to be determined, but I have kind of a positive feeling about the moves they've made. They've been on a really hot streak recently and got Tyus Jones, a player Alex said was a sneaky steal when that happened. And I agree. I don't know where he fits with this team, but I think that's a good basketball player. I think Dang is a better basketball player than people give him credit for. And Cody White is now on this team with Mike Conley. So Mike Conley can maybe help be the vet on this team that I've kind of always thought was missing. And then Cody White can maybe, spread his wings. I still don't know about the structure. It feels like Cody White and LaMelo Ball aren't really a backcourt duo that would fit, but sometimes I just have to be proven wrong. So we'll see. Hopefully, I'm wrong. But it's kind of an interesting vibe I got in Charlotte. I don't know
Yeah,
what this feelings like really. And then I'm not sure which one I'm on, but I know I have the Lakers. I think the Luke Kennard trade, although it is the only trade you all made this trade deadline, I think it is trading him for Gabe Vincent and a second round pick in 2032. I think that's a great trade. You got rid of somebody who was a problem, was a negative on your team, was a waste of space pretty well, and you brought in Luke Kennard, who can absolutely have a better impact than Gabe Vincent. So huge credit to y'all, and on a pretty good streak here. Who knows? Who knows? I think that's one that we'll see Luke Kennard drop a 20 piece in the playoffs to help you guys get a win. So I think that's a great one. And then my last winner is the Thunder. I mean, it's kind of easy. Like adding Jared McCain without really losing a player of value, especially with Shea out now, like he can just come in and yeah,
yeah.
I'm just glad Logan's not here to gloat about it. I'm just
I meant to mention that in the first segment too.
odd, Logan. I'm not trying to diss you, but oh,
But the possible month away may give us time to breathe after all these moves. For me, honorable mention. I try to be unbiased, even though I'm much more excited than this honorable mention gives credit for. Was the Lakers. Gabe Vincent finally off the team. Needed to happen for quite some time. Has really done much of nothing from that point, from the backup point spot since he's been here. But we go from Gabe Vincent, who has shot in the teens from 3 point range, 3 seasons in his career, compared to Luke Kennard, who shoots 42% from three over his whole career from three, and has shot nearly 50% from three this season from range as well. That's beautiful when you have guys like Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and LeBron James who are just opening up wide open shots for him. So excited for that. Five to start the list, I have Boston. They got Vucevic. Uh, they had some no-name centers who were playing outstanding basketball. Don't get me wrong, but they finally got somebody noteworthy, I would say, in the post and set up their future for um, maybe another long stretch of solid basketball. And number four, I have OKC. I said it already. The rich get richer. Can OKC sign somebody over 25 years old? Is that allowed? Is that legal? Uh, because this is ridiculous. Every good
Leonardo DiCaprio, NBA.
every good young player, they have them. Third, I have the Clippers. You get Garland, and I have them this high because that may be end up what keeps Kawhi in LA. And I know the Clippers really want to do that. They just built that new dome, and they don't want bad basketball back in Clipperstown. And number two, I got the Cavs. They got the All Star snub, in my opinion, James Harden, and you know maybe a little PIMDOS here. James Harden's bad in the playoffs. The Cavs have been bad in the playoffs. Maybe they maybe they kind of can maybe they kind of cancel each other out and make some beautiful music in the playoffs. Probably still not, but this year in the East, you may feel
Anything's possible.
number one. I have Charlotte. I love the vibes going on in Charlotte. Just to let you know, though, Tyus Jones did quietly get traded today to Dallas, so that is unfortunate. But because I was really excited to see how he fared on this team, but still get Kobe White and Mike Conley. Mike Conley, a veteran presence that a team with this much excitement and young talent certainly needs. And I think Mike Conley should be looking forward to setting that veteran presence. And who knows? I mean, this isn't a trade deadline move, but Lonzo Ball rumored to get waived. If he signs in Charlotte, the Ball brothers back together. Those are vibes. That's vibe basketball right there. If I've ever seen it, I need the turquoise, all of it back in.
Trade for Onyeka Kongwu. Let's just bring back the Chino Hills squad.
Need this. I'm really happy Charlotte basketball is somewhat decent again. If not only for Charlotte, for Eric Collins. He gets to call good basketball finally, so he deserves it. So I'm so happy for him. And that is a big reason why they top my list. And now we will move on to our regularly scheduled NBA Pick'em, where we pick our winners for the biggest games in the association this week. Not many days left in this week, so didn't have many great ones to pick from. But the ones I picked from are Friday, 7:30 on Amazon Prime. The Knicks at the Pistons. Colton, who you got?
Pistons have been the best team in the East. I'm just going to rock with them. I feel the Knicks are in a really weird spot. I just realized Jose Alvarado, that was a nice pickup for them. I was going to mention that. I forgot to mention that. I do like that pickup. I don't think that's a game changer, but it's one that can make a difference, I think, in the playoffs. I think he's a winning player. But I don't know if that's going to give them the win over the Pistons. So give me Detroit to take this one.
Definitely fits the culture, and I want to believe that's going to make a big difference for them, for a team that's kind of caught some stride recently after really needing a players only meeting a few weeks ago. So they've come quite a ways in 2 weeks, and just because that and the sneaky good move that they made at the deadline, I will go with the Knicks for this one. And then the next one I have is Saturday, 3:30 on ABC. The Rockets at the Thunder. Colton, who you got?
Ooh. Shea's out for this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Rockets. I think the Thunder are kind of due for some losses. Maybe I'm wishful thinking here, but I think he picked two really good matchups. By the way, for half a week off, like
Well, thank you.
uh, those are two really good matchups. I'll go ahead and, like I said, go with the Rockets. Those are two really fun games. I have to watch those, but yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely be tuned into both of those. My note here is literally SGA is out at least until the All Star break. Get your punches in while you can, Western Conference or whoever they play. So
Breathe.
give me the Rockets right now in this one, and hopefully McCain plays in this one, and we at least get some of that basketball. So that'll be exciting, make the matchup even more thrilling. And yeah, so I have Houston in this one. And now we will move on to our shooting star where we pick our baller of the week. Colton, who makes your list?
Don't
Hey, I like
understand.
that.
I mean, this is like Warriors level of competence by GM. The fact that he's been there through some tough times and has been able to stick in that role and not get phased and be able to come out the other end of that dark period in Thunder history with the championship finally. I shit on the Thunder a lot because they did block the Pacers from their first run of a championship in my lifetime. Maybe I was one when I think they could have won it with the Malice in the Palace, but uh, at the end of the day, you got to sit back and respect it. I sit back and I respect the Patriots and their run. I'm not happy they're already back. They should have had a decade of suffering, but here we are. And then, yeah, but still, got to respect it. Sam Presti, another insane move, and just having that flexibility of, I have 50 picks, I can just give him a first rounder, why not, just to sweeten the deal for Jared McCain. So huge props to the Thunder and all they do. Glad Logan's not here to hear that.
Yeah, the smile would be too big to contain, I think. It's for me, it's every delusional team and fan base that thinks they are still Giannis sweepstakes after he didn't get traded at the deadline. You all are so silly. And unrelated to that, I cannot wait to see him in a Lakers uniform next season. So excited for that. It's going to happen. Not delusional at all.
Spider-Man meme.
Good. And Giannis for the next decade. Wow. So many championships are coming. I can't wait. But that will do it for this special edition of the Restricted Area Podcast. Thanks to Colton for being on today, and follow the show's YouTube at CX Restricted Area, and follow the CX crew on all socials at CX Pod Network. You can follow me on Twitter at The Wheel Deal and Colton at Colt_45. That's 3 T's, by the way. Thank you all for listening and watching. And until next week, like the Trader Players flights, be smooth.